Hello and welcome to 15 minutes with Shadow over Mordor. No, Shadow of Mordor. I've got a running theme of me not being able to name the titles of these games in these 15 minutes of. Last week I did Dying Light when it was first light, and this week Shadow over Mordor. Shadow of Mordor. Anyway, a game by Monolith that is in the vein of Batman and all the Ubisoft games that you can think of with their towers and their side quests. The difference in this is the Sauron's army section and the manipulation that you can do of Sauron's armies. Just about to start a mission here called Feast, where I will demonstrate some of the things that you can do. A lot of the combat I will talk about later in a section where I've got the combat pretty much mapped out, but for this purpose I'm just going to talk about what you can do and with regards to this army. So, Sauron's army is made up of captains and war chiefs, and you can manipulate both to your own ends. Obviously your ends being getting rid of all the war chiefs. The main story is that Mordor is being overrun by Sauron's army being these Uruks that you want to destroy by poisoning them, killing them, fucking up their little hunting sessions, all the other little side quests that you can do in this game. You are possessed by the bearer, not the bearer, the creator, sorry, crafter, forger, I'll get there eventually, the elven forger of the Rings of Power. If you're not familiar with Lord of the Rings, that's basically what it's all about. There's these rings that got created and then people got powerful and one person got too powerful and he fucking went apeshit and on a little power trip and killed half the people in the world. Anyway, getting off topic, this game has a little army system and then it's up to you to manipulate it. So anyway, this guy's a captain and I want to make him my little captain, so I possess him with the magic of the super elven geezer, and now that I've got him possessed, I can give him a number of things. I can ask him to find out information, I can ask him to kill other people, I can ask him to become a war chief's bodyguard, or I can just ask him to get promoted to become a war chief himself, which is what I am going to do. When you do that, it creates a new mission, and that mission will be some kind of power struggle for him to complete. Once he completes it, he gets the promotion and becomes a war chief. There's the power struggle that I've done. It's a trial by ordeal, which is basically him fighting some kind of beast, which is generally easy to help him with. That's the map. There are two of them. That creates the game. It's all open world, like I say. You've got the towers that you can fast travel to. They need to be unlocked by climbing them, very much like any Ubisoft game. Once you do, it unlocks that area. Well, not unlocks, it shows on the map that area, and unlocks all of the little side quests, of which there are activities and also collectibles. The collectibles are there are glyphs on a wall, there are things hidden in the dirt, and there are no, that's it. Oh no, you've got to collect herbs and stuff as well. With regards to the combat, you have got it's Batman. If you've not played Batman, I can't really. I'm going to try my best to describe it. But Batman is arguably the best melee combat system there is. So I'm just letting this geezer light the torch so that it attracts loads more people. You've got a normal attack button that you can chain together. You've got a counter button that will allow you to counter attacks from the other people, and then you've got specials like that where you can explode their head. Once you get up to a certain number of hits, it creates a special counter that you can use to perform executions like that, chopping a geezer in the air and then stabbing him through the stomach. Again, the magic thing with the exploding head, then an execution gets unlocked. Not only that, I can also possess people so that they fight for me, like I've just done to that geezer. So when the next enemy comes along, that geezer's going to be on my side. There are three weapons you've got in the game. A sword, which you use primarily for the fighting. There's the bow, you've shown there for ranged attacks, and then there's the dagger, which you use in stealth attacks. All 3 weapons are upgradable, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later once I've done killing all of these people in this mass onslaught with my dirty specials. There are lots of other unlocks you can get by button combinations, like the ground attack there, the thing I do in a moment where I jump over people to stun them. You've got the tripping up stuff there. Again, counters. Obviously certain people, including the war chiefs, have specials that counter your attacks, like these massive geezers with shields. Obviously you can't attack them from the front, so you have to jump over their head, which is what I'm doing here to stun him, then attack him from behind, and then give him a possession, because having a shield guy on your side is pretty good, because they're quite strong. They're only beaten by berserkers pretty much in the hierarchy system of normal Uruks, so whenever you come across one, it's nice to possess them and get them on your side. That way they can fight alongside you. And that's basically the combat system. It's exactly the same as Batman if you have played that. Now, getting on to the power struggle that we spoke about earlier. So I want this guy to become a war chief. That way he has taken up one of the war chief slots, and war chiefs are very, very difficult to kill. So when you need to get rid of them later in the game, it's much better if you've got one you've already possessed, because you can kill them in an instant, which I will show you at the end of this power struggle. Power struggles they've got mission start points. You start the mission, it's very much in the same area. This power struggle is the guy has got Tighter Caragor, which is like a beast dog thing that only take 2 headshots to kill, which you can do with your bow from a safe distance. When you bring up your bow, it activates a bullet time, so that you can aim up at the head and pop the Caragor and he is dead. That's it, that's the ordeal. Some of them are longer, like they go on recruitment and you have to protect them for quite a while. Some of them they go on a hunt where they have got loads of Caragors coming at them, or other types of things like ghouls or whatever, even a Graug. You'll see one of them later. And there he's got the promotion. He is a war chief. Obviously I've completed this game, so I don't actually need him to be a war chief. So I will demonstrate the simple button press that kills everyone under your control in the vicinity, including war chiefs. So once you need to get rid of them later in the game, like I said, very, very easy. He has died. There are hunting missions and survival missions. The survivalist missions are basically herb collecting, where there's herbs along the ground, and in certain sections only certain herbs grow. You have to collect a combination of such and such. The hunting missions go from kill an Uruk, just one normal Uruk, to kill one of these big horned motherfuckers. Now the skills you need to kill one of those giant things you will learn. Fortunately I already know, and then most big beasts you can then ride. So I climb on top of him, and in a series of quick time events I possess him. It's very much like the Venom bad guys in Batman, the big guys that you can then ride, and then I can use him to attack things that are around me. I possess him by this combination where you move the left stick inside the circle and press the button that it shows. That specific quick time thing is used for a lot of things throughout the game, and you'll get used to using it. But like I say, I just needed that to kill him. Another thing that you've got in the game is hunting missions, is slave freeing missions. Now there are slaves dotted around the camp that are protected by an Uruk. Not protected, they're being dominated by an Uruk. So that little fist is an icon down there that shows that we've got some slaves and there's an Uruk about that's keeping them under thumb. So we go down there and kill the Uruk, and those slaves are freed. Not only are those slaves freed, but it reveals a mission, specific mission for slavers, that you then have to go to an area and free a set number of slavers that are tied to poles. These can be in castles and bases and forts, which is a pain because obviously there's a hell of a lot of Uruks. This last one is quite easy because it's just in a valley, and the Uruks are quite spread out, and apart from a few that turn up, it's not really a challenge. Starting any mission, no matter what it is, will even if you're being watched by 1,000 guys, it will just start the mission, so you don't have to worry about making sure you're not being seen or anything to start a mission. You can just run to it and start it like I have here. As I was saying earlier, there are 3 types of weapon, and to upgrade those weapons you have to do a series of challenges. There are 10 challenges for each weapon. Obviously the sword is defending a certain area or attacking a certain number of Oraks, and generally you're in some kind of area or arena where lots of Oraks are flying in and you have to kill a set number of them. You know, caves, or there is actually one that's an actual like Colosseum type arena, and they just come in waves, sometimes all at once, and then you just have to keep killing until you've killed the requisite number, and then that's the level. For the bow, it's a similar thing but with ranged attacks. Sometimes you have to shoot stuff stealthily, sometimes you have to shoot stuff from afar from a set position and you're not allowed to move out of that little position, and sometimes it's just people rushing at you and you have to shoot at them or barrels or other things of that ilk. The dagger is the most annoying one. The dagger is a stealth section, and the game is not particularly built for stealth, although it's got an Assassin's Creed type feel of it where you can free run up walls. You can climb pretty much everything, and there's lots of little, you can see the cables in the distance there, you can run along them, or there's zip lines, and you can position yourself above them. And it's similar to Assassin's Creed, but it doesn't have the finesse, and it's clunky in places when you want to do something stealthily. Like you'll think you're miles above everyone and no one can see you, and then you'll fire an arrow into someone and then apparently everyone saw you do that. And then the mission stops and you have to do the entire thing again. So though the stealth missions are annoying, but at the same time, it's at first, when I was doing the first half dozen, it was a nice break of routine. Like you're in mass fights a lot of the time, where there's groups and groups of Oraks and you're trying to kill them. But so it's a nice break. But as it gets later in the game and you have to do certain specific stuff in an area where there are thousands of Oraks, your natural instinct is to just jump in and kill everything in sight because you know you can. And doing the silly namby-pamby walking around is annoying, to say the least. But that's Shadow of Mordor in a nutshell, in the 15 minutes that I allow for this type of video. I hope what you've seen will give you a hint of what the game's like. I'm sure if you've played Batman you'll know all about this sort of combat technique, killing the people to gain the combo bonuses and then using those combo bonuses on other people to do it. What this game does differently to, it has its similarities with Ubisoft games, it has its similarities with Batman, and it has the best similarities. It doesn't take any of their crap stuff, it takes all of their best bits to make this game. It doesn't just put things in for the sake of it, it puts them in and it works brilliantly. They've matched it together almost perfectly. But what this game does that no other game has done is the Sauron's army section. Creating that power struggle that you then get to manipulate by doing other things. I mean, war chiefs have up to 5 bodyguards, and you can possess every single bodyguard. So imagine if you've gone and you found the bodyguards, you've attacked them, you've dominated them, now they're yours under your control. You go and activate the war chief, he walks out with 5 bodyguards thinking he's Billy Big Bollocks, and then you turn them against him like that. And then all of a sudden he's got 5 bodyguards fighting him. You don't have to do anything, you can sit at the top of a tower watching 5 bodyguards beat the shit out of a war chief. It's golden. I guarantee that this thing will be manipulated by loads of other games in the coming years. They'll see this and they'll go, that is brilliant. Anyway, that's been me. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, we've got a website, we've got Twitter, and we've got loads more videos coming. So subscribe, like, and I'll see you around for the next 15 minutes off. Bye!